Hey YouTube, Jeremy Wright here. Let's see, today's August 10th, I believe, and I have spent quite a number of weeks, maybe a month, not really uploading much. And I'll tell you really what's going on. I had custody of my kids through the summer, so I was with them, spending quite a bit of time with them, playing, having fun, traveling a lot, and beyond that. I was having some tech problems. So I didn't realize that on my Pixel 7, which I'm shooting with right now, all of the files that I thought I was deleting were just going into the trash, and it filled up the data on the phone. Um, I was having some data transfer problems from my phones, plural, to my PC. I ended up upgrading the PC, upgrading some phone stuff, and back at it. Plus, I've got my Pixel 7 back, which is it's my main phone. I like it a lot, and I like shooting with this thing. So anyway, the kids are back with the mama. School's about to be back in session. I'm back into my hobby. So we're gonna start here with Tank A. Recently, I pulled out, and I'm gonna say this was 2 weeks ago. I pulled out kind of traditional around here every month or two. You have to pull out like 1 to 2 pounds of guppy grass and some anacharis and a little bit of let's see if I can find some like algae growing in the top of this. And that's just the routine maintenance that I do in this tank. It's got a lot of light, so it's got two 4 foot, actually it's four 4 foot LED tubes, one fluorescent tube, and I recently pulled off a grow lamp that was mounted kind of more to this side. But anyway, there was a lighting change to this tank. Actually, there were two big lighting changes. The first was pulling out all of the guppy grass that was just, it just becomes a really dark matte that light can't penetrate down to the bottom. So that was the first lighting change. The second was I pulled off the blue and red grow lamp, so no more magenta colored light coming out of this area, and that's fine. This tank had plenty of light. It wasn't suffering from a lighting problem. Now, maybe the stuff down in the bottom not getting enough light, right? So just kind of an evaluation of coming back into my hobby after a month or so away, seeing what's not doing well, and yeah, it's first off, I need to clear still a bunch of this plant matter. Like, that's a lot of excess plants, and they are preventing some light getting to the bottom. I probably need to replant some small stuff, like some foreground stuff around here, and maybe take some of this, anacharis, guppy grass, who knows what else is tangled in that stuff. There's going to be other stuff. Um, I see little bits of Saswasser tang, little bits of hornwort. Um, that, I guess that's just guppy grass. I thought it might have been Rotala or something. Um, there's stuff in here, and there are little bits of algae growing in here too, which I'd like to remove. So if I find a piece of guppy grass with some algae on it, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter right now. We're just gonna start pulling it out. So yeah, that's sort of I end up having to pull some of these things forward so I can see if they actually have algae growing on them, or if it's just kind of a spot in the tank that is hard to see through because it's got so many plants in the way. And that's, there's a little fuzzy spot. So just pull out however much fuzzy spot there was. Oh, it's still fuzzy spot. Oops. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. And it helped that area of the tank. So, yeah, just backing up a little bit. This is Tank A. It's a Central American guppy tank. Somewhat natural substrate, soil under pool filter sand, kind of fatherfish style. It does have a single large aquarium co-op sponge filter hiding back there, and an air stone that's just to circulate air. It has a heater in the back that's unplugged, and right now three-phase lighting, which means that it's switched lighting that comes on like soft, medium, meaning one of those double rows of LEDs, and then the other one comes on through the midday. Then that light clicks off midday because it's a higher consumption bulb, but it's lower output, so it clicks on in the morning and it's on in the evening, and it's a really nice mood lighting. Like it's great to watch the fish and such under that small fluorescent tube that's back away. But those are the grow lights, right? And that's fine. This tank is super solid. It's been running for about 3 years, maybe 3.5. And scaping is pretty simple. They're two large stones. Behind and under this one, there are bristlenose catfish that just have their cave and live. We might get a view of them. I saw them both out earlier today. It's a male and a female. For some reason, they're not breeding. I don't feed this tank much. That's probably why I don't feed this tank much. The other bit of scape is another large stone that sort of sprawls out and then has a big bulge over here. And these are hardwood vines that I collected from the wooded area directly behind my house in my yard. And they had a bit of moss growing on them at the time. I think the bristlenose sort of took care of the moss that was growing in the bottom of here, and that's kind of unfortunate because there was really beautiful Physidens fontanus all over the bottom of this tank. And when I put the male bristlenose in here, along with me just not feeding them a lot, right, that I already admitted to, they ate all of the moss that was in the bottom of this tank. And that's okay. I've got Physidens fontanus growing elsewhere, but that was my favorite moss. It may still be my favorite moss, but another local Arkansas moss, feather moss, has quickly won my interest. It's different. It's more like Christmas moss than one would think, but and it actually grows quickly too. It grows really well, but that stuff is really interesting. This tank has several grasses. I believe it's a Vallisneria. It's just a small one. There are chain swords that they haven't been getting enough light, so they're not like crazy growing down here. And there's probably Sagittaria grass growing in here elsewhere. I think that's a little Val. See how it sort of looks like it's got a shiny tape-like quality, like packing tape? Yeah, that's Vallisneria. Yeah, I don't see any dwarf sag right now. Okay. This tank was away from my house for 6 months or so while I was renovating, from last January until like July. And I got it back thanks to a good friend who was willing to just watch it, keep it fed, keep my guppies alive, keep most of my plants alive. It was when I got it back, it didn't have its lighting on it, but it came back in here, got pretty much exactly the old lighting that it had. But when I added the guppy grass, it just largely took over from a lot of the stuff. Now there's some Brazilian pennywort down here that I want to pull up a bit and hope that I can get this stuff to thrive in here. That's a new addition to this tank. So yeah, that's not very Central American, but the ramshorn snails already broke the biotope, so not a big deal. Siswasertang broke the biotope. Not a big deal. Otherwise, I generally keep my yellow guppy colony in here. So if there are just any yellow guppies that I find in another tank or elsewhere that need a home, I toss them over here. Every once in a while, we get one like this that, yeah, he probably shouldn't be in there, but I don't have another tank that's got light or blonde guppies that I want him breeding with, so he's fine in here for now. If I think of a good place to put him, I will put him. But for now, he's not being put. He's being held on to. Um, these type gups are the ones that are usually the daddy in this tank. Yeah, so that's tank A. Um, as I move through here, I can only imagine it's going to look quite a bit different soon. I've got another 8 or so tanks that I'd like to share, just in their condition of me returning to my hobby before I do any maintenance, really, or trim or start modifying them. Just showing them as they jungled out, what they did, how they are, basically with no maintenance for the last month, other than me feeding them and pouring some top off water in. And that's just me. I've been doing other stuff. My kids were more important than my hobby, and I was thinking about them. So I'm back to my hobby, and yeah, this stuff's going to start looking a little better. Thanks for watching.